What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the number one show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponents and build their dream careers in sport. I'm your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we are going to be talking about enjoying time away. Now, why are we going to talk about this today? The main reason is because, guys, Easter's coming up, and I know a lot of athletes struggle with taking days off. They struggle with taking time away because in their minds, oh, if I take 3 days off at Easter, then I'm going to lose everything that I've ever worked for. Or, some sort of crazy shit is passing through your guys' minds. So we're going to talk about how to go about enjoying time away and how to go about, getting through those guilty feelings that a lot of athletes feel when they're not fully dialed into their sport. Now, I'm going to come at it first and say, I understand the guilty feelings. I understand when you guys are away from the sport, you're not, dialed in on your nutrition. You're not training every single day, whether it's for a holiday or whether it's whatever else might be going on. I understand where those guilty feelings come from. You're trying to make a career in your sport. That is not an easy thing to do. And as a result, when you are away from it, you feel like you're not doing enough. And if you feel like you're not doing enough, you feel like that's going to lead to you not being able to see success in your sport. So we're going to talk about why, first of all, those feelings are misguided, even though I do understand them, and then how to actually get past them. So first of all, guys, nobody can be dialed in 52 weeks of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. And also, what kind of fucking life is that? Yeah, it's important if you want to succeed at a high level that you're dialed in a lot of the time, but you also need time to relax. You need time to be a human, and that's not a bad thing. I think we live in a world where, hustle is always preached and hard work is always preached, and that's a huge part of what we talk about on this podcast too. But you've got to understand that if you're working hard 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year, first, you're going to grow to hate whatever the fuck it is you're working at. You're going to grow to hate it. Plain and simple. You're going to grow to hate it because you're not, the passion is going to just run out. So first off, you've got to understand that being dialed in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year is not a thing. That does not exist. That will not work for you long term. Second of all, when it comes to those guilty feelings, first, we're going to talk about how to actually understand where they're coming from. Generally, when I speak to athletes and they have those guilty feelings, they're injured and they are taking a week off because of the injury and they're feeling like, oh, I should really be training even though I'm hurt, and they feel guilty about not training. The feelings come from feeling like you're not doing enough. The feelings come from feeling like other people are making progress and you're not making progress. If you're listening to this, let me know if that resonates with you. If you're here live, comment and let me know that resonates with you. And if you're here on the replay, make sure that you're just taking note of that resonates with you, that you feel guilty because you feel like others are progressing while you're not. Now, if you're feeling that way, reframe it in your head like this. Your goal, if you're an athlete, we speak to a lot of combat athletes on this show. Your goal, if you're a fighter, is to perform on fight night. So if you're injured and you're feeling guilty because other people are making progress and I'm not making progress because I'm hurt, right now for you, progress is getting healthy so that you can train at your best. Plain and simple. Because if you're injured and you keep trying to just train through it and not address the fact that you're injured and you need some time to recover, those injuries are going to get worse. And then you're moving yourself further and further and further away from that goal of competing when it comes to fight night. So the goal is always to perform at your best on fight night. So reframe it in your mind. Stop thinking that the goal is to do the most in the gym and start understanding that the goal is to perform the best when it matters most. So if you can do that right away, you're going to understand anytime you're away, especially due to any kind of injury or anything like that, the goal is not get back as fast as possible. The goal is heal the injury so I can be at 100%, so I can train and perform at my best. Now, if you're away because of something like a holiday, the easy ways to get around that is, again, because if you're away for something like a holiday, yeah, you're going to be off of your regular training session. But guys, guess what? You need to relax every once in a while. Getting that extra session in isn't necessarily going to do anything great for you. You know what really might do something great for you? Putting fighting out of your mind, relaxing for a little while, and focusing on enjoying your life, which in turn sparks that desire to get back in the gym. Do you ever hit that point where you feel like you're having to drag yourself to training every day? You feel like you're going because you know you have to, not because you get to. These are the times that you get to re-spark that passion. These are the times that you get to re-spark that drive. When you're away for a couple of days, that's the time where you get to sit and you get to think about how excited you are to get back to it. And when you're excited to get back to it, you get more out of it, plain and simple. So if you're sitting and you're having those guilty feelings, Easter's coming up, you're going to be away for a few days and you're feeling like, oh, I need to be back in the gym. I can't miss a training session. No. Having those kind of feelings. First off, I get it. I feel you. But second, this is how we're going to get past those guilty feelings. Number one is I need you to understand that more isn't always better. People think that the more hours that they do, then magically they're going to be better prepared for their fight. But you've got to understand it like this. If you have a water bottle that holds 32 ounces of water, filling it up with 64 ounces of water isn't going to be twice as good. It's twice as much water, but it doesn't make sense for the water bottle that you have. And this is the same thing for your body. If you are training 10 hours a week right now and you're making really good progress, doubling that number and making it 20 hours a week isn't going to double the speed of that progress. What's going to happen is that's going to be too much information for your brain to handle. That's going to be too much training for your body to handle. And you're going to physically and mentally burn yourself into the fucking ground. And then you're going to start to be shittier even though you're training more. So you've got to understand that more isn't always better. Because if all you're ever doing is trying to train more, then you're not putting your focus where it actually needs to be. And your focus needs to be on actually performing on the night that it matters. So if you don't have a fight booked right now, your focus needs to be improving your skill set. It doesn't need to be being in the gym for 38 hours a week. It needs to be improving your skill set. Go in today, do something that is going to make you better today than you were yesterday. So just by reframing that focus, you can cut a lot of hours out of your week and continue to make better progress just by thinking about it differently. So if you have a couple of days away this weekend because you're, with some family over Easter or whatever else it might be, enjoy those days away. Because if you train Monday to Friday and you make good improvements to your skill set Monday through Friday, and then you're away Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then you're back next Tuesday, then focus on improving your skill set Monday to Friday. And then this weekend when you're away, if you're worried about, falling off or losing progress or anything like that, focus on the things outside of the gym. Do something for yourself. Go outside and spend some time in the sun to get some vitamin D into your body. Get a good solid 8 hours of sleep each night that you're away. Focus on improving your, folks spend 30 minutes every morning that you're away studying on some, mindset related stuff or watching some tape of some fights. Do things outside of the sport that can continue to help you improve in the sport. And if you're feeling a little burnt out, mentally, you just feel like you need some time away, take it. Because if you take that time away, you're going to refresh your brain. You're going to spark that love and passion. And in turn, you're going to be more excited to come back to it when you get back on Tuesday. So if you are in that position right now and you're feeling those guilty feelings, hopefully that helped out. But one of the other things that I find makes athletes feel those guilty feelings whenever they are away is that they're not confident in the training that they're doing. So you're training a lot of hours and your thought is the only way to improve is to train more and more and more and more and more. So what happens is that anytime you take a day away, you feel like I'm not training more, so that means I'm getting worse. So what I want you guys to do as well is create the bare minimum list. Create the bare minimum list. And what I mean when I say that is create the list of things in training that have to get done every single week, no matter what. Excuse me. So that can be, how do I put it? So Creating the bare minimum list. What that means is creating that list of training that has to get done no matter what. So if you break down all the different areas of your training, your strength and conditioning work, your skills training, sparring, everything that you do within your week, create that list of how many sessions need to get done. So what I always tell my athletes is I like my athletes to be doing 3 strength and conditioning sessions a week plus a recovery session. However, if you're in a phase right now where life is super busy, work is crazy, you're training a lot, you've got things going on in your personal life, if you're able to get 2 strength and conditioning sessions done every single week and that's all you can handle right now, you're still going to make very good progress. And if your life is crazy enough, doing 2 is going to be more beneficial than doing 3 because you're going to be able to keep your wits about you and be able to handle that mentally, and you're not going to overdo it and actually end up burning yourself out. So with the strength and conditioning work, with every other area, create that bare minimum list. Every week I need to do and put everything that you have to do on that list in order to continue to improve your skill set. So that means I need to do 2 striking classes a week in order to continue to improve my skill set. I need to do 2 wrestling classes a week in order to continue to improve my skill set. Now, on the weeks where you don't have a lot going on, yeah, do more. But on a week like Easter, if you're headed out of town for a couple of days, make sure that you get that bare minimum in and then go enjoy your weekend. So you've improved your skill set. Now you can enjoy your family. And then next week, add an extra class in to make up for, if you feel like you really missed out, make up for the fact that you missed out. But don't try to make that week that you're away crazy as well. Enjoy the time you're away, and remember, the focus is to improve over time. The focus is not to skip the line and just do more than everyone. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is the fact that taking time away recharges your brain. Guys, I know that you feel like you need to train every single day. I know that you feel like if you're not training, that means you're missing out. That means you're losing. That means other people are improving more than you. But first of all, remembering the fact that more is not always better. And remembering the fact that the goal is not who can do the most. The goal is who can be the best prepared when it comes to fight night. So remembering that, what I need you to understand now is that if you're in the gym 40 hours a week training, you are not taking in 40 hours a week of information. You're just not. You know, I wish it worked like that. When I spend 15 hours in a day working on my business, I don't get 15 hours of hard, dedicated work done because I get distracted. You know, I take 30 minutes to eat. I go work out. I go do this. Like, my day is 15 hours long, but I'm not getting 15 hours of work done. So by being able to condense that time down and work 8 hours, but be more concentrated in those 8 hours, I'm going to get more done in 8 hours than I would in 15. That makes sense? So it's not about how much time you're spending. It's about what you're doing within that time. So keeping that in mind, understand that taking time away allows your brain to recharge. It allows your brain to recharge. It allows your passion to recharge. If you've ever been hurt and you've been forced out of training for a couple of weeks, you know this feeling. You're there when you've gotten that all clear and you're going back the next day and you're sitting there going, fuck yeah, I can't wait to go train tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go. Like, that feeling is important. Because guys, when you have that feeling, when you're excited, when you're bouncing up and down, when you're just so pumped that you get to go back to the gym, that next session is going to be one of the best sessions of your life. Even if not everything feels perfect, you're going to be understanding things. You're going to be paying better attention to your coaches. You're going to be so much more dialed in because you've been away. So we have those feelings when we're injured, or we have those feelings when we're forced out of training, yet people take so long to actually do that for themselves. You know, people won't do that for themselves voluntarily because they feel like they have to train all the time. But think about the progress you make every time you come back from an injury. Think about those little things you pick up. That's what you can do for yourself. Honestly, I try to tell my athletes, you should take a week off 1 to 2 times a year, even when you're healthy. Just take a week. Don't train. Just relax and let yourself get excited to train again. Now, a little bit of a story on this. This is something that I always try to adapt into my business as well. Now, obviously, with running a business, I have clients to take care of, so I'm not taking weeks fully off and just saying fuck it and leaving my clients to do their thing. I'm always there, but I take a week at least 1 to 2 times a year where all I do is the things that absolutely have to get done, and I don't try to go above and beyond. I don't, do those extra things to move the business forward. I just take care of the clients I have and do the work that has to be done, and then let my brain recover. I shut it down at a certain time every day. I don't work past that time. I let my brain relax. I let myself recover. And what happens when I take those weeks, guys, is the next week is always one of my best weeks ever in business. Whether it's signing a bunch of new clients, whether it's coming up with a really cool idea that's going to help my clients out a lot and move my business forward, whether it's, promotions and podcast ideas and things that I get to bring to all of you. Every time I take that lighter week and I let myself just recharge, recover, and rediscover the passion and the energy and the excitement that I have for this, those are always my best weeks ever. And the reason is because I'm not just going through the motions. I'm not waking up every day and doing the things just because I have to do the things. I'm waking up every day excited to get back to the things because I fucking love this with all my heart. But if you try to be dialed in 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 52 weeks of the year, that passion starts to fade. You start to do it just because you have to, or you start to do it just because that's what you do. But you lose that spark that got you excited about it in the first place. So guys, even when you're healthy, take those times away. 1 to 2 times a year, take a week and just let yourself chill, let yourself relax, and let yourself rediscover the joy that you have for getting to pursue a passion in your life. Now, I hope this was helpful, and I know the goal of this podcast was to teach you how to enjoy time away. But the things I really want you to get from this is to be more intentional with your time, to remember that time away is not a negative thing towards your athletic career. Time away is not going to prevent you from growing in your athletic career. Time away is simply going to allow you to rediscover your passion, going to allow you to look at things that you're doing in a different light, and it's going to allow you to physically and mentally recover, and in turn is going to allow you to get more out of your training overall. So I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love to know what it was. Shoot me a message on social media. All my accounts are going to be in the show notes below. And as always, my one ask of you guys is to share the show with a friend, share the show with a teammate, share the show with someone who needs to hear this message. So as always, I appreciate you, whether you tuned in live or whether you're listening back on the podcast. I thank you, and I look forward to talking to you all again very soon.